to scour the globe for the troupe, known for their toe-tapping rhythms, hilarious comedy, and stunning good looks. The search will continue until the bitter end, but who will find them?
I'm Dr. Dan Vaudevillians, PhD in music and mixology, and this is my lovely wife, Miss Kitty Witless. What do you say, Kitty? And we are the Vaudevillians, the hottest act ever to be frozen alive.
Vaudevillians is a show about our two characters, Dr. Dan Vaudevillians.
Oh! Here we go now! Here we go now! Here we go now!
And Kitty Whitlet.
Working hard to make it better, do it fast to make it stronger, more than ever, hour after hour, world's never over. Working hard to make it better, do it fast to make it stronger, more than ever, hour after hour.
And we are vaudeville stars who were frozen alive in the 1920s by a freak accident.
What are two vaudeville stars, authentically from the 1920s, doing standing before me in such pristine condition?
Thanks to global warming, we've thawed out and we are returning to the stage to play our original music. But we've found out that popular artists over the last century has been covering
our music without giving us any due credit. Taking our songs, originally written in the 1920s, completely out of context.
Just awful.
People like Janis Joplin and Madonna have just been ripping our stuff off.
Lady Gaga, MIA.
So we're here to return it to its original vaudeville right. It's because times have changed so much and yet so very little.
So much and yet so little.
We started where so many popular musicians of our time started, in an opium den.
We're doing these pop songs as if they were written in the 1920s, and you find that through music and through culture, it's just telling the same stories over and over again. I would say it's about 80% scripted, 20% improv. So we know what we're going to say to set up each song, and we know the jokes, and we know the storyline, but we leave it fully open to have a new experience every time. And so if the audience is like yelling a lot at us, we'll yell back.
One of the fun things about doing this in new spaces when we're traveling is that space is different, the audience is completely different. Our niche audience has been a little bit of the drag world, a little bit of the theater world, so it's nice to see them collide and get along with each other.
And every time we get audience members who come specifically because they are a fan of Drag Race and they want to see a little piece of Drag Race, they come into it maybe assuming it's going to be your typical drag show, and then they realize quickly that it's not. You know, it's its own kind of, it's its own thing, but they never leave disappointed. They get treated to something they weren't expecting, and they really appreciate that they were taken by surprise like that.